I don't know if you guys saw this, but I was just reading something, and it kind of bothered me. Tyler Perry, he basically said, I'm not going to teach my son about race. Like, he doesn't want to use, white, black. And I'm seeing a lot of black people do that now, where they don't want, they want to be identified as, like, he, she, they. They don't want you saying that they're black, and it's causing confusion. But I just wanted your take on it, Dr. Umar. Why are we as black people falling into the white supremacist trap with these things?
Because we do not want to take...
I don't see how you can identify with your race.
You can't. But remember now, we've been down this road plenty of times. This is nothing new. This is not new at all. This whole technique of trying to become invisible by not identifying with your race, it is, first of all, it is psychopathologically stupid to think white people are going to stop identifying you as black because you don't want to. That's ridiculous. Nobody is going to see you as anything other than what you are, no matter what name you tell them. I don't care if you use Bay, I don't care if you use L, I don't care if you use Muhammad, I don't care if you use whatever you want to use. Everybody knows who you are. They can go straight to your DNA analysis, and the DNA in your body will tell them exactly who you are and where you come from. So nobody is confused about who we are but us. And the only reason why we are confused is because we have no pride in who we are, no dignity in who we are, no respect in who we are. And most of us feel the best way we can escape racism is try to escape being African. That's the strategy. I am going to stop oppression for me and my family by ceasing to identify with that name, which has become the badge of degradation for our people. All this is are people jumping off the ship because they don't want to save the ship. It's very cowardly. That's like you belong to a gang, and another gang approaches your gang. And the gang that approaches your gang is much stronger, much bigger. They got better weapons, and they like, listen, we here to destroy y'all. And you like, wow, we can't beat these people. So what can you do? I'm going to take off my gang sign. I'm going to take off my gang rag, my gang clothes, my gang shit. I'm going to take off everything on my body that identifies me with this gang. And why am I trying to disassociate from my gang so badly? Because I don't think we can win. The heart of this identification nightmare that we're having, this identity crisis that we're having, the heart and soul of this identity crisis is these people who don't want to be called African, don't believe there is a future for African people. But let me give you the other side, Queen. I'm going to give you the other side. All these Asiatic black men and all these Aboriginals and all these Moors and all these aliens and all these North Americans and pretendians and freedmen, I promise you this. When we get our act together, and we will, when we get our act together, how much you want to bet? The same people who told you they were not African will be dying to get back into the community. Once we have something that is worthy of respect, everybody who's running away from being African will run back to it. The Puerto Ricans are going to run to you. The Dominicans are going to run to you. The Cubans are going to run to you. The Asiatic black men are going to run to you. Everybody, the pretendians, the freedmen, the aboriginals, the indigenous, everybody telling you they're not from Africa today will proudly call themselves African tomorrow once we give them something to be proud of. This is why I'm not angry at them. I'm not angry because it is a basic human condition to want to be associated with something that gets respect. African people haven't gotten respect for more than 500 years. So naturally, African people want to stop identifying with being African and find some other umbrella that doesn't get the same type of treatment. This is why our people identify with religion more than race. This is exactly why African Americans identify with religion more than race, because being a Muslim is more respectful to them than being an African. Being a Christian is more respectful to them than being an African. Take Tyler Perry. The reason Tyler Perry is telling his child that they don't belong to any race at all, they're just human beings, is because Tyler Perry is trying to detach himself from his race. Tyler Perry don't understand you cannot detach yourself from your race. Every white person, every Asian, every Arab, every Mexican knows exactly who you are, Tyler Perry, when they see you. Now let's ask this question. How many European Jews are telling their children, you're not Jewish, you're just a member of humanity? How many Chinese are telling Chinese children, you're not Chinese, you're just a member of humanity? How many Arabs and East Indians and Anglo-Saxons are telling their children, you're not an Anglo-Saxon, you're not an Arab, you are just a member of humanity? Nobody does that except Negroes. And the reason they do it is because they don't understand that shared identity and collective consciousness. Shared identity and collective consciousness is the basis of any liberation movement. You got to have a shared identity and collective consciousness in order to build your political empire. You got to have shared identity and collective consciousness in order to build your financial power. You got to have shared identity and collective consciousness in order to forge an independent black community, a black Wall Street, independent black schools. There is no progress for a group of people who will not identify with each other. It is a shame that our self-esteem has been so destroyed, the way our racial self-esteem. We are the only people, as one of my Queen Mother Elder scholars said, we're one of the only people who don't have a racial ego. We don't have a racial ego. You disrespect Chinese, they coming at you. You disrespect Mexicans, they coming at you. You disrespect the Arabs, they coming at you. You disrespect the European Jews, they coming at you. You disrespect black folks, not only do we not come at you, we will forgive you for what you did even before you are arrested, charged, tried, convicted, and sentenced. Nothing hurts my heart more than when I see these parents of police genocide victims get on national TV and forgive the police who killed their child before they get arrested, before they get charged, before they get tried, before they get convicted and sentenced. You're not being religious. You're showing how much we as black people don't value our own lives. That's all you're showing, is how much disrespect we have for our own blood being spilled. They still looking for Nazis right now.
That's right.
And when they find a Nazi, they not trying to forgive or forget. They want the death chamber. You got Nazis hiding out all over the planet because they know the minute they get uncovered, their life is being taken. Ain't no forgiveness, ain't no praying, ain't no can't we all get along. And the reason why black people have that passive, docile, walk all over me consciousness is, once again, we don't believe we can win.
Everybody want to be a part of a winning team.
Anthem say, Baba David? There's a song in a black national anthem that I always quote when the song says, when hope yet unborn has died. The hope ain't even been born yet, and it's already dead.
DOA.
And we're raising our children to be the same way. Now, all the black kids in the schools now, they have a multicultural fetish now. All the middle school black boys and high school black boys want a white girl. They want a Mexican girl, a Hawaiian girl, anything other than black. Because this is what our celebrities and rappers, these Negroes on TV, they pattern. And now the black girls want to get their skin bleached. They need their hair straightened. They need their body slimmed down. They got to have a perfect shape. Our children are suffering from our self-inflicted menticide.
Wow. So, sister, did you have any other comment that you wanted for Dr. Umar?
Yeah, I just wanted to add, black people are so quick to say, well, where's the solution? I mean, I feel like no one has the race solution. I mean, we don't have justice.
We know the solution, my queen. We're in denial. No. Everybody knows the solution. Nobody wants to implement it. The solution is collective work and responsibility. It's the principle of Garveyism, borrowed by Kwanzaa. Collective work and responsibility. You know why nobody wants to talk about that? Because anything that has to be done for black people got to be done by black people independently. We don't want to be told that. We do not want the responsibility, the accountability, or the sacrifice or the obligation of building our own institutions. Black people don't want to work to make black America better. We don't want to make black America great again. How many black people you know willing to give up half of their disposable income so we can build another black Wall Street? This is why people consider us a bunch of hypocrites, because we'll celebrate Black Wall Street every year, and we ain't got one yet. Where's the modern black? You ain't got a Black Wall Street in 50 states, But we love to have a Black Wall Street celebration because we're a bunch of hypocrites. We love to celebrate, but we don't like to produce anything. We are not a race of producers. We are a race of consumers. The solution is independent institutions. But who's going to build them? And who's going to put the money up? And who's going to be responsible? And who's going to be accountable? Black people are not interested in sacrificing for black people. And that's why we're dead last. We're the only group in America who have no cultural cohesion whatsoever. Hence the 1,000,001 names we want to call ourselves.
And that's what astounds me is that you are in the process of building an institution. You've been building. You're an institution in of yourself. You know, I was at a meeting one day in my house, and this sister was there, and I didn't even know her, but she was with another sister, and I was talking about the show. And every time I talk about the show, I talk about you being on the show. And she says, "Oh, Dr. Umar, he's helped to save my son's life." And I'm saying, but see, you're an institution builder, and we should be collectively working with you. But like you said, people don't want to take the responsibility. So, well, listen, sister, thank you so much for that call and contribution. But, before
and Baba David, really quick, they need me to fail.
Yeah.
And the reason they need Dr. Umar to fail is because when FDMG succeeds, not if, but when FDMG succeeds, the bar is automatically raised in our community nationally for the standard of accountability and responsibility and sacrifice. Baba David, I've been at this for 8.5 years now, non-stop, 8.5 years. So once the school opens, now people don't want to hear a bunch of YouTube videos. They don't want to see a bunch of summer festivals. They don't want to see a bunch of books and documentaries anymore. They want to see if Dr. Umar can build a 4-building campus from the ground, largest independent black campus in America. If he can do that, starting with no money in the spring of 2014, what is your excuse? And what is your excuse? And what is, Baba David, they need me to fail so nobody asks us anything of them other than another YouTube video.
Well, I still suppose. But one of the things that I wanted to ask you, because it came from our neighborhood, our beautiful North Central Philadelphia, the brother that got a 73-year-old brother that got killed in there by the youth. I wanted to know what's your opinion about that, and what do you think about the parents that had their children out that time of morning?
It was the wrong thing for them to be out. But I'm going to stop just short of criticizing the parents, Baba David, because I don't know the parents' circumstances. I don't know what medical conditions they have. I don't know what mental conditions they have. I don't know their financial situation. I don't know the family's psychosocial history. I don't know if we're dealing with single mothers who are taxed to their last breath with responsibility for raising them kids by themselves with 2 and 3 jobs. I don't know the situation of the parents. But what I do know is the black community is 100% accountable and responsible for those young people taking those children's life. Why, Baba David? Because if we were organized, those children would have never been outside. Forget the parents. In our culture, we say it takes a village to raise a child. We have to get back to the village. The problem with black America, Baba David, there is no village. Tyler Perry is going to raise his kids to have no racial consciousness at all because he wants to opt out of the village. These people telling you they're not African, they Aboriginals and Indigenous and Native American, they want to opt out the village. And this is what I say. Let everybody who wants to opt out. And make sure it is a permanent opt-out clause. So once we fix ourselves and we get back up on our feet as the glorious African race we are, you're not coming back. If you don't want to be black, no problem. Keep that same energy when we back on top again. That's all I ask.
That's right. Keep that same energy.
I don't care how much you ain't from Africa. I don't care how much you don't want to be called an African. I'm okay with that, Baba David. Just please keep the same energy when we get our act together as a race. Don't be trying to climb back into the race once we become what we are destined to become.
Now, I talked to several people, and the question is often, well, what do we do about the children? Now, as a certified child psychologist, what do we do, or what do we tell our children about such misbehavior and hate towards their peers over frivolous things? You know, they'll be at a moment ready to take somebody's life. You know, do we exercise more conflict resolution? Do we exercise more rites of passage? I see some coming up around the city and stuff like that. You know, what are some of the solutions that we should apply to our children?
Remember this. Without institutions, you cannot control behavior. Without institutions, you cannot control behavior. We can teach our children whatever we want, and we can make them do whatever we want as soon as we give them institutions that we control and the opportunities that they need. Without institutions and opportunities, no black child is listening to nobody in the black community because our message, as far as they are concerned, is not relevant. How can we expect them to listen to us when we send them to white people every day to get a miseducation because we don't want to use our disposable income to build schools and jobs for them? They're not going to respect us until they see us building for them. Not only fighting for them, building for them. Yes, we have to fight for them, but we also have to build for them. And we're not building for our children.
Well, then what's going to happen with them?
They're going to be exterminated. We as a race are going to be exterminated. The children are in the process of turning against the community. That's what's happening. They're turning against the people who left them out naked and defenseless before an aggressive, narcissistic, inhumane white society and culture.
Wow.
They are robbing us and they are killing us because we have basically robbed them of their future and killed their opportunities.
Well, you know, Brother
Karma of the community is coming home to revisit us.
Wow.
White America programmed our children to destroy its own community.
That is so true. And it's happening every day through the music and the videos. But, you know, Brother Shamari wrote a book.
Rap music needs to be banned.
Yeah.
Rap music needs to be banned. Nothing good has come from rap. I know we coming up on 50 years of hip-hop. And by no means am I throwing the classical hip-hop music under the bus. I'm not throwing classical hip-hop under the bus because classical hip-hop was about culture, consciousness, and entertainment, not this filth here. This is extermination and genocide music. And the reason I say hip-hop need to be shut down and destroyed because the fathers of hip-hop and the conscious artists of hip-hop refuse to hold the younger artists accountable and responsible for their lyrics and their behavior. So if Chance the Rapper and Kanye West and Jay-Z and Big Daddy Kane and KRS-One and Dougie Fresh, I'm talking about all of them. If you are not going to step up and tell these young dudes, y'all got to stop rapping what you are rapping or we got to shut you down, then y'all just as guilty as they are. Because y'all gave birth to the art form. Y'all gave birth to the art form, and now you let these young, ridiculous buffoons run off with it.